Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. This article comes to you guys from SDX Central. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So publicly now, Verizon more and more is discussing and talking about 6G. So in this case, Verizon's CTO ready to tackle 6G alone? Well, it does have a few partners. You got to have partners. You have OEMs. They have to focus on Samsung. They got to focus on Ericsson. They no longer have Nokia in the network. So those are its two partners. And there's probably some other partners that they will have to take along the ride into 6G. Verizon wants to be first to 6G, and it's willing to press that because with a handful of partners, focus on driving that ambition. That's going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be hard to do, because you can touch any sites with a newer technology and say you have it. But in that regard, we all know T-Mobile is further along, having upgraded all the basebands, right? And also the spectrum deployment. T-Mobile has more of the mid-band available today. So if there's a shift, if there's anyone that I think that can pivot quickly towards 6G and be first, it should be T-Mobile. But Verizon, being that they started 5G late, they could very well possibly force its way first into 6G. And that's what it sounds like they want to do. They're very well along the development path. They want to create forums. I don't know when this starts. If we go by the past, if we go by LTE, they started 2019 with 5G, so about roughly 7-8 years in. So if we follow that same time frame here, 2028, 2029, we could start seeing some 6G, which is crazy because we really don't have a huge big 5G use case yet, and we're already talking about 6G. So that's crazy. So the carriers are going to have to keep being innovative themselves to create some kind of monetization that'll allow them to make return on investment for the spectrum purchase. Like, for an example, AT&T created AT&T Turbo. That's an additional monetization. T-Mobile is using slicing. Verizon's starting to use slicing for additional monetization. But how much more of that can you monetize? What are you going to offer on 6G? More slicing? You know, so it's they got to figure something out in that regard. They got to monetize, because these spectrum auctions are probably going to be very expensive for the higher mid-band. This time around, we want to design a 6G system with a set of use cases in mind, so that it comes to solve some problems, pressing problems, and enable some things you cannot do today. What would that be? Just think about that from a broader perspective. What would that be? Anything that can connect to a network today is trying to be connected. The Apple Watch, the Apple Vision Pro, any future smart glasses that may be released, all of that is already being connected onto the networks. I'm assuming eventually the laptops will have 5G chips before we get to 6G. I think that's coming too. Also, I think the Vision Pro, the Apple Vision Pro, is going to have cellular at some point. So again, anything that can have a connection will have a connection, and it can be connected today. So I don't know what use case they would design that cannot be used today. So that's another interesting one. T-Mobile already said they're ready to attack 6G with AI RAN. Verizon makes no mention of that just yet. T-Mobile is trying to create the standard for AI RAN. They're working with NVIDIA, Nokia, Ericsson to create a standard and patent the AI RAN. So it sounds like if Verizon and AT&T wanted to use that, they may have to pay some royalties to T-Mobile, perhaps, is what it sounds like, unless they create their own. But that's what it sounds like. They want to use, T-Mobile wants to go into 6G with AI RAN and use that very heavily. So while we still wait for 5G deployments today, more C-band, more SA, more voice over NR, all of that for the carriers in AT&T and Verizon. 6G is already heavily being discussed while we're still waiting for those deployments. We could say Well, it is a fact. The carrier that has the most mature 5G today is T-Mobile. It's scaled more. The SA core is available on low band, mid band. Voice over NR has been available for the most part nationwide, and that's just a fact. So the rest are still playing catch up, getting closer by the day. Each and every day, there's more and more sites going in the ground, more and more sites being upgraded, more SA being turned on. But for now, 6G being already discussed is tough when you're still heavily deploying to 5G. That's not matured yet. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.